It's your boy J Best, your boy Relly, and boy Jarek, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 3, episode 49. In today's episode, we'll be giving out our Travis Hunter jersey. We'll be announcing the winner. And following that, we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders falling in this year's draft. And then after that, we're going to give our favorite and our least favorite picks in the first round of this year's draft. And then in the NBA, we're going to give our NBA playoff updates and also talk about the Lakers being down 3-1. All right, before we get into any of that, as always, I want to thank God for waking us up this morning and allowing us to talk about sports, which is something that we love to do. Without him, we would not be here right now. All right, fellas, y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's get straight to the point. First and foremost, let's give away our Travis Hunter jersey. All right, this is a giveaway we did about 2 weeks ago. We started it, and people commented on my TikTok post, and they entered the drawing. All right, so we spun a wheel, and your winner is Carter 43. All right, Carter 43 won the Travis Hunter jersey. I'll be reaching out to him soon, and I'll be getting this jersey to him. All right, so congratulations on winning the Travis Hunter jersey. All right, our next jersey giveaway will be on Instagram, and that'll be happening tomorrow. Okay, I'll be posting a video tomorrow for our next jersey giveaway. All right, let's go ahead and talk about one of the hottest topics of the past week. All right, it's been Shedeur Sanders falling in this year's draft. All right, so we're gonna give y'all our reactions. Jared, you up first.
I'm just shocked, honestly, because it really doesn't make sense to me, if I'm being quite honest. How can somebody go from being a first round graded guy, being talked about if he's going to be pick 1 through 5, to falling all the way back like that? I'm honestly confused, and I think that what made me feel better is if all the GMs came out in agreement and agreed that they really didn't have Shedeur rated that high, or tell us the real reason why. Because at this point, we're going to start speculating that his reasons beyond his production on the field. When you look at his production on the field, he had stats this year to go with the best quarterbacks in college. If you look at Cam Ward's stats, you look at Shedeur Sanders' stats, if I was to take away their name and give you their stats, some people would say, oh, this quarterback's better. Some people would say this one is. Like, you can't really tell me in terms of production that other quarterbacks were so much better than him. Mind you, the man played with no offensive line. He had no offensive line doing what he was doing. I thought that was really, special. Like, I thought what we seen was something special. He has no line. So, yeah, he might be getting sacked a little bit too much. People might claim he's hanging onto the ball a little bit too long. But a part of that was his offensive line. So, with that, the adversity of going through the offensive line, he still was balling out. They had no run game in Colorado the 2 years he was there. He still had great seasons. He showed that he can throw the deep ball. He's very accurate. Like, what he showed me was he's a franchise quarterback. And I don't see how people – I'm not an expert. I'm not a draft expert. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But when I turn on the tape, I see a first-round quarterback. I see a franchise quarterback. I see somebody that is the only person you can tell me is better right now be Cam Ward. You tell me Jackson Dart's better than him right now. I'm sorry, I don't see it when I turn the tape. You can't tell me Tyler Show is better than him. I don't see it. You can't tell me Dylan Gabriel is better than him. There's absolutely, and I need the GMs to come out and tell us the real reason, because there's no reason why that man should have fallen that far. It's a first round talent, and we just you honestly robbed the man of that moment. And if it was to humble him, fine, but I don't agree with the way they went about it. You're going to take away from that man's moment to quote-unquote humble him over something that's partially not even him, but it's really his father. People really don't like the ego behind his father and his whole family. I feel like the draft should be based off of what you see on the tape. And a lot of times the draft becomes more so what you see in the combine and what you hear about in the media and stuff like that. If I'm drafting a team, I'm drafting you based off that tape. If I need a quarterback, I'm drafting a quarterback that on tape looks good. So there's no reason why you should have fallen that far.
All right, Real.
Yes, sir. I just want to start off by saying this. I 100% wanted Shedeur. My first pick, second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick. Every single pick I wanted Shedeur. Everybody knows he's a great quarterback. You don't sit at college and throw for 64 touchdowns and 13 INTs and just be average or just be a bad quarterback. Like Jerry said, we're not draft experts. We don't know everything, but we know that this guy, Shedeur Sanders, is for sure, first round talent. He was 2 weeks before the combine arguably the number one pick. Um, I was actually talking on live about this the other day, and I was saying Shedeur Sanders needed to be humbled, and the NFL was humbling him. And this is a reminder to the whole world that you need to be humble with anything you do. We never saw LeBron James get too humble. We never seen him get too ahead of himself and say, "Hey, I'm the best player ever. I'm gonna win the championship every single year. I'm the best player. Nobody can stop me." We never heard Tom Brady say, "I'm the best quarterback ever. I'm gonna win every single year." We never heard that. So it's just I think Shedeur Sanders just needed to be humbled. I saw a whole bunch of different posts saying they didn't like how his interviews went. Like his interview with the Giants, Brian Dabble said that Shedeur Sanders completely blew it off because he didn't want to be there. So I think there's a lot of things that led up to this, but him not competing in the combine, him not wanting to run a 40-yard dash, it was a lot. But like Jerry said, we just want answers because why did Shedeur Sanders fall to the fifth round? I think I have it down. I think it's because he needed to be humbled. I think it was a message, but I just don't know. What about you, Jay Best?
All right, so as a Steelers fan, right, going into this draft, I wanted Shador, right, and I kind of like on the previous episodes we've done, I talked about Jackson Dart because I just did not think that Shador would fall to 21, right, but then eventually he fell past the Saints, which I didn't think would happen, and he kept falling, thinking we were about to get him. So then we didn't get him, and he kept falling. Second round, y'all didn't get him. He kept falling. He just kept falling. Like I didn't know what was happening. Man, I thought about it, and I think this has a lot to do with Deion Sanders. All right, that's the father of Shedeur Sanders. Deion, one of the best players I think to ever touch a football in the history of the game. Right, the best corner for sure. First ballot Hall of Famer, all of that. Right. Deion came out and said back in January, he said that it's a couple of teams I won't allow my son to play for, right? And when you say stuff like that, you're basically you're pretty much saying that you're in control of this, right? Like you pull the strings around here, like you are that guy. And I think that the NFL as a whole, the system said, okay, you think that you can say that? Then watch this. How about nobody drafts him? How about he just keep falling in his draft? Like I think that this was, like you said, real a humbling situation because you can't do that. And also, Dion didn't put no names on it. He just said that there are a couple of teams he don't want his son or he won't allow his son to play for. So that's 32 teams sitting back thinking, okay, who are we talking about? Mind you, only like 5 teams needed a quarterback going into this year's draft. So I think that it was definitely a humbling situation for Dion and for his son. Because also Shador came out and said, if you want your culture changed, right, then draft me, right? Like you talking a lot, and you got to make sure that you cash these checks. But we're gonna see what happens. Cleveland drafted Dylan Gabriel and then turned around and drafted him. I don't know what the thought process of that was. But maybe Cleveland sat back and said, okay, he done fell this far. Let's pick him up. I've heard some people say that they got him for basically quarterback get hurt going into training camp or going into the regular season, then they might just call Cleveland and say, "Hey, let me get Shedeur off your hands." Cleveland might get some more picks heading into next year's draft. Like that could be a strategy that they used. But yeah, I think this whole thing was just a humbling situation. Because if you look at the tape, like Jared said, like Rail said, this guy is not. There's a lot of those quarterbacks that got drafted before him are not better than him. If you look at the tape, right? So, but I also think that two things can be true. Like I think it was a humbling situation, but I also think that some teams looked at the tape and was like, I'm not that impressed. I don't want Shador. I think some teams could have said that. Like there's some scouts out there that could look at Shador and said, okay, I see a lot of negatives. I see some positives, but a lot of negatives. You never know. Like we see good quarterbacks fall every year. So Jalen Hurts fall, right? You so for crying out loud, the greatest quarterback of all time failed, right? Failed far in the draft. So it's two things can be true. I think a lot of teams said, okay, Dion, you think you got control of things? Let's teach you a lesson, right? Some teams said, Shador, you're a little too cocky. Like I heard that he threw like some interviews he had, he went in there and just blew it because he didn't want to play for that team. Like that's what I've heard. It's a rumor, but it could be true. But like some teams said, Shador, okay, you want to act like that? We're not gonna draft you either. But I think there's some teams that said, I don't think Shador is going. I don't think it's going to translate into the NFL.
But tell me what's the difference between what Eli Manning and his dad did and what Shador and Dion did? Tell me the difference.
They wasn't as vocal / cocky about it. It was a different approach, right?
The
And then
man got
Dion,
traded on draft night for a reason. Like there's literally footage of them being upset when his name got called and ultimately forcing the team to trade him. Like that wasn't by accident. Like they made that happen. I'm not I personally think it's just because of how big Dion is and how big his platform is. Whenever Dion speaks, everybody listens. So whenever Dion says there's teams that his son doesn't want to play for, that he's not gonna let his son play for, that's going to be big in the media, as opposed to Archie Manning saying, I'm not gonna let Eli go to certain situations. I find it's just different because of who the father is, but it's really the same thing, and that's what I don't understand. And if you were humbling him, okay, when he doesn't hear his name get called first night, I feel like that's enough. I feel like that's gonna check him. But in my opinion, maybe deep down it affected him, but he looks like the same Shedeur Sanders. The same Shedeur Sanders because, hey, the only thing that you really just did was affect my contract. You played with my money. I already have money. I was one of the highest paid college athletes in college. I already have my money. Like he said, he went on an interview the other day, and they asked him, "What's going to be his big purchase?" He said, "I already got everything I want. I already bought everything. All my big purchases. I already got that off his college check. All he needed was an opportunity. So for you to be ego checking him that first day, that's cool. Yeah, you mess with his money, but he's not really worried about the money. He's worried about going and showing people that y'all are wrong. So I feel like overall, like regardless, first round maybe, but there's no reason why his name should have got called day 3. Like that's where we're pushing it. That's where I feel like the line got really crossed ultimately. Like, yes, what Deion and them did might not be right, but y'all really just went lower than what they were doing. And the whole situation is just messed up to me. But in the end, he's on the NFL team. In the end, he will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this year. In the end, he's in the situation that he wants to be. He's in the NFL. You can't take that away from him. You can joke about he's the 5th round pick all you want, but he's in the NFL. You can't joke about his money. Whenever you joke about somebody being a 5th round pick, you really just going to talk about their money. You can't joke about his money. So at the end of the day, I feel like this is really just a loss for the NFL because the NFL is now getting looked at in a negative light. Like we see the situation with the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator and his son. Like people are really starting to look at the NFL and question, like, does the NFL have its own morals? And are they going against these morals? But I don't think it's putting a negative light on Shedeur, besides the people that are already haters.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason, though. Now he went to the same division as Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, and I think this adversity is going to do nothing but turn him into a superstar quarterback. So good luck, Jalen. Good luck, Jared. You guys got another superstar quarterback in the division that's going to light it up for probably the next 15 years. Another MVP candidate.
Hey, I ain't worried about no 5th round pick.
You just wanted that guy with your 21st overall pick.
I ain't worried about no 5th round pick.
You was going to jump off the balcony for your 21st pick for him.
I'm joking. But I think to pick off Jerick said, I think that it's once again, you say they crossed the line, but the NFL could think that Dion crossed the line. Like you think you calling shots around here, you're not. We about to prove that you're not calling no shots around here. So it's all about and once again, I'm not against Dion. I'm not saying that what Dion said warranted what happened. But I think in the NFL eyes, if you look at it, bro, you're not calling shots around here. Like, who are you? Like, I understand you did great things for us in this league, but you a head coach of Colorado now. Why are you saying you basically got control of where your son gonna go? That's probably how the NFL is looking at it. And they said, cool, you're gonna let him fall. And I think that it's not even just about the contract, like you said, Shedeur got money, right? But at the end of the day, you was being talked about as the top 5 pick, arguably the best quarterback in the draft. And then you sat there, you set up your whole little draft night experience thing at your house, whatever, at your crib, and you didn't get called day 1. That's cool. We're gonna set up again tomorrow. He didn't get called day 2. Like it's embarrassing, honestly. And he was trending for the wrong reason. Shedeur was trending because he was falling in the draft. Like that's a neck that is It's embarrassing, honestly. And I think the NFL, they wanted to send a message. What Jared, what Joker say? What Heath Ledger say? He says, "Not about what?
What? What you say? It's not about money. It's about sending a message.
Not about money. It's about sending a message." And that's what the NFL did. All right. So I think that's what happened. But I don't think. Once again, I don't think it was warranted. But I think that's how the NFL felt. All right. Well, let's move on to our next topic, which is our favorite pick in this year's NFL draft. We're gonna stay in the first round. All right, but we're gonna give our favorite picks from this year's draft. Tyrell, you up first.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna go down to that 504. I absolutely love the Kelvin Banks Jr. pick from Texas. Let me tell you why I love him. So a lot of times, NFL fans, typical NFL fans, will see a lineman get drafted, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I want a receiver, I want a quarterback, I wanted an exciting position." But people don't understand that typically these high drafted linemen are typically turn out to be all pro linemen. So our head coach is Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is coming from the Eagles. Kellen Moore just worked with a Super Bowl team, so he knows exactly what a Super Bowl formula looks like. He went and got out the biggest, baddest lineman in the world right now, Kelvin Banks Jr. He had the 90.7 pass block grade since 2023. That's number one among all offensive tackles. On top of that, he's only allowed 2 sacks within the past 2 years, 3 QB hits. So within the past 2 years, his QB only got hit 3 times because of him. He allows a 2.1% pressure rate. Hey, Archie Manning and Quinn Ewers, they said nothing but great things about him. This guy is going to be an absolute stud. He makes the Saints O line, to me, the best offensive line in the league. But people are going to say I'm biased, so I'm going to say a guaranteed top 5 offensive line in the league. Jay Best, what did Kellen Moore just do with Mekhi Becton? He looked like a bust a couple years ago. We thought he was over.
He moved into right guard.
He moved in the right guard. Trevor Penning, he hasn't been looking too good. We're going to move him to right guard. Move him to right guard. Boom. Solidify the offensive line. Cesar Ruiz in there. Eric McCoy in there. And we got Kelvin Banks Jr. out there. Last year, our first round pick was Tuanga Fuanga. He would have been all pro if he played all year. We had the best offensive line in the league. This was a great pickup, and championships are won in the trenches. Offensive line and defensive line, you got to get that right first. Great pickup. Great draft, Kellen Moore.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I don't think he's being biased. I think he just made a good point. He just made a really good point, especially bringing up the whole Mekhi Becton situation. He just made a really good point. So I wouldn't even say that he's being biased right now. All right, Jared, who you got?
I'm taking the boy Tyler Show. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. It pains me to say it, but I gotta go over to the division rival. I gotta say Malachi Starks going to the Baltimore Ravens. To me, like when you look at Malachi Starks, first of all, we know any defender looked at by Georgia that is considered a first round talent, they're going to be nice. We know that. And if you watch college football, you know Malachi Starks is nice. He is, in my opinion, if not number 1 safety in college last year, maybe number 2. Some people might have Caleb Downs ahead of him, but that definitely means he's the number 1 safety in this draft. And I honestly think he's the number 1 defensive back in this draft, just overall, corners and safeties. And the fact that we saw that man fall all the way down, like there's so many teams that we talk about, you made a pick that wasn't necessary because you got this guy who, like, you know, and like, for example, the Raiders. You called out the Raiders a lot about, you know, getting Ash Jincy whenever they have spots on defense that need to be filled. The Buccaneers drafting Emeka Ibuka. Like, that's a great, like, these are great picks, but it's not necessarily what you need. These are both teams that passed up on the Malachi Starks where they have problems in the secondary. You need help in the secondary and on your defense. So the fact that not only did he fall to that far, but he fell to the Ravens, who already have Kyle Hamilton, who's shown that now they've changed the way he works in that defensive scheme. And he showed that he's actually pretty good. He's actually showing up and living up to the, maybe not yet, but I think he's going to live up to the hype that he had coming into the draft when he got drafted. So now you basically created the best safety duo already, just based off of this draft. And you're already adding him to a younger, talented defense. So I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Being a Steelers fan, I don't like the fact that the Ravens ain't able to get him that far down in the draft. I don't. He's a stud. The man's a baller. He finds his way to the football, whether it's getting an interception or coming down here and making a tackle. So that secondary for Baltimore has got a lot better with one draft pick because teams allowed him to fall that far. So I gotta say Malachi Starks.
All right, I'm gonna go on down to Duval. Okay, and I'm going with
Duval.
Travis Hunter. All right, now people will sit here and they gonna say, "Ah, they shouldn't have traded so much." Right? I want to let y'all know what the trade was. So the Browns had the number 2 pick, Jaguars had the number 5 pick. The Jags traded up to get Travis Hunter. This is what they sent. Okay, they sent a number 5. So the number 5 pick, right? They sent the second round pick this year. They sent the 4th round pick, and then next year's first round pick. Right, and then the Jaguars got the number 2 pick, and then the 4th round pick. All right, and then 6th round pick. So I think basically the Jaguars gave up first, second, and first next year. Those are the picks that really, really matter to trade up to get Travis Hunter. Last episode, me and Jared talked about it. The match made in heaven, right? And I said Travis going to the Patriots because he's a generational talent, and I talked about what he could do with the Patriots. Now with the Jaguars, it's a different situation because the best fit was New England because he could have went over there, played receiver, and also would be the number 2 corner beside Christian Gonzalez. All right, Christian Gonzalez take the number 1 receiver, he can take the number 2 receiver, right? But now you're with the Jaguars, it's not worth putting Travis on the defense. It's not, because putting Travis on the defense to me is not going to change much about that defense. Like that defense is not one piece away from being a really good defense. So to me, I'm gonna keep Travis on the offensive side, right? I might let him play defense every now and then. I would say 85% on offense, 90% on offense, 15 to 10% on defense. All right, because on offense, you just paired Travis Hunter with Brian Thomas Jr. All right, mind you, Travis is 21, Brian Thomas Jr. is 22. We're looking at a dynamic duo for years to come. The Jaguars have to make sure they keep this duo together. All right. And also, what this did was this helped Trevor Lawrence out because now the Jags know we're not a year or 2 away from competing or contending. So if we can make this trade and get Travis Hunter in here, we can really evaluate Trevor Lawrence, right? We can see if Trevor is really that guy because now you have, to me, in 2 years, they will be the best receiver duo in the league. Stamping everything. I honestly believe that. So Trevor Lawrence, that's what you have. And now you have to show me flashes, not even flashes. You got to show me consistency, and you got to put up numbers with these 2 great receivers, right? So you're either going to find out Trevor Lawrence is your guy or he's not your guy. And then that's going to allow you to make the next move. Like I said, Travis is 21, Brian Thomas is 22. So you have time to build this team up to contend. So I think that's why this was a great move because of the youth that it added to this team. Once again, generational talent. When that defense gets good, then you can put Travis over them defense. But I think that all around this was a good move for the Jaguars, who know that they're not a year away or 2 years away. So they can afford to lose next year's first round pick. And I think they just got a stud at receiver and eventually at corner. So I really love that pick.
Yeah, most definitely. And like you said, you just made a great take. Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, they could most definitely be the best wide receiver duo in 2 years.
Yes,
But
and it's gonna be 2 years plus because like it's gonna be in 2 years they're gonna be the best, and they might be the best for another 9, 8 years because like I said, 21 and 22, dog, they are age, but they are age and they about to play together. So the Jaguars have to keep them together though. They have to do everything they can to keep those 2 together. All right. Now we talked about our favorite picks. Let's talk about our least favorite picks from this year's draft. All right. Once again, we're sticking in the first round. Jared, you up first.
Staying in the division once again, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Cincinnati Bengals against. I don't think we all know that they have defensive problems that they definitely need to address. Shamar Stewart is not the guy to solve your problems. I honestly don't think so. We're still unsure what they're going to do with Trey Hendrickson. Your secondary is still god awful, and you drafted Shamar Stewart, a guy who, if we're drafting an edge in the first round, he has to be like that guy. You turn on his combine. This is one of the guys that I feel like he benefited from the combine. I don't care unless you're a true college football fan, unless you're a like A&M diehard fan. We didn't know who Shamar Stewart was before the combine. And he had this crazy combine they compared to his Texas A&M alumni in Myles Garrett, who turned out to be a stud. But mind y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, Myles Garrett was the first pick. He was the first pick for a reason. because he was doing that in college. So not only did Myles Garrett have a great combine, you turn on the tape, it matches the combine. You turn on Jamar Stewart's combine tape and his play, it doesn't match up. You look at this past year, he had 1.5 sacks. I don't feel like a guy with 1.5 sacks should be our first round pick if we need defensive help. Like, because mind you, you're not in a situation where you're trying to build this defense for the future. You're building it for now because you have Joe Burrow, because you have Jamar Chase, because you resigned T. Higgins, because you're ready to compete now with the pieces that you have on your offense. So you need the defense to match it. Shamar Stewart, he had 1.5 sacks. He had 5.5 tackles for a loss. That's pretty good. Like, I just don't. 31 tackles overall. He was 13 all SEC, which that's a great accomplishment because we know the SEC is probably, if not the one of the best conferences in college football. But to me, y'all need on defense is so big. Like if they wouldn't got Malachi Starks, hey, that's a great pick because he's going to change your secondary just off of him himself. Shamar Stewart, like whenever I turn on the tape, I don't see where this guy's going to come in and make an immediate impact day one, which is what their first round pick's purpose was. When you look at Cam Ward, when you look at these other top picks, they're for the future. Jamar Stewart is for the now because they feel like they have a team that can compete. Mind you, they are coming off of a Super Bowl appearance in the last 5 years. This is a team that wants to get back to where they were. And I don't think Shamar Stewart is the pick to do it. I just don't. This is a player that I feel like the combine really boosted his stock more than his tape does. And if I'm a GM, I wouldn't have took my chances because, like I said, I'm a tape guy. I like turning on your tape and seeing that you're a dog on tape. The man had 1.5 sacks. So, like, your defensive line coach, maybe Trey Hendrickson, maybe y'all can work with him and get him right. But, like, when you look at his draft profile, his weaknesses, it's just like these are weaknesses that you can't have to be my first pick thinking that you're going to change our defense. And I know you're a big guy on your secondary can be terrible, but if this front seven, if this pass rush is good, they can compensate for what your secondary can't do because quarterbacks need time. A wide receiver needs time to get open. So if you have guys that can get to the quarterback in 3 seconds, you're going to win because they're either going to have to throw little check downs every single time or you're going to get to the quarterback. But Shamar Stewart, I don't think he's the guy that's going to revolutionize and change your pass rush. So that's my least favorite pick in the first round.
Is it my niece over there making all that noise?
It sure is. And your mom just letting it happen.
All right, real you up.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna have to stay in the AFC. I'm gonna have to say the Dolphins getting Kenneth Grant as the 13th overall pick. Now, Kenneth Grant, he's a really good player. He's been a good player for the past 2 years. This is not the downside of Kenneth Grant at all. He's a good player. I feel like his production kind of wasn't there in the run game as much last year, but he's still a really, really good player. The reason why I chose him to be my least favorite pick is because regardless if Teron Armstead retired or not, the Dolphins needed to go O-line. Like, they absolutely needed to go O-line. You just gave Tua the highest paid contract at the time. You gave him the highest paid contract ever. That means you need to protect him. You need to protect him at all costs. Tua, every single time he gets a concussion, they're gonna talk about, ooh, should Tua retire? Is Tua done? What's next for Tua? The priority in this draft should have been protecting Tua. They had so many great linemen that they could have got. I just don't understand the Kenneth Grant pick. I know the defense was bad, but with Teron Armstead retiring and you guys being the most sacked team last year, you have all the weapons. You have everything you need. You have A-Chain, you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike just you have weapons everywhere. Just get somebody to protect your quarterback. You just gave him this big contract. The Miami Dolphins will be top 5 in sacks.
All right. I like that pick too. I remember when I like that pick that you made because I remember when they drafted him, we was like, why would you do that? All right, but I'm gonna go ahead down to Oakland and I'm gonna beat on this drum that I've been beating on since the night of the draft. All right, Ashton Genty. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think as a player, he's going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I think eventually he'll be good. But right now, this is not what the Raiders needed. The Raiders are not a team that if I just add Ashton Genty, we're gonna compete. And I also believe that at this pick, you could have filled many more needs other than the running back position. All right, because think about it. Can y'all name one player on that defense outside of Max Crosby that really makes an impact? Not a
I
soul,
know.
right? Some people might bring up Christian Wilkins, but he's not. He's not really making no. He ain't making no splash play. At least I ain't seen him make no splash plays, right? There's so many defensive players on this board. Jerry just talked about Malachi Starks, who could have came to your secondary and helped you out because your secondary is terrible, right? You could have went edge rush. You could have got Mikael Williams or Jalen Walker out of Georgia, right, to pair with Max Crosby. Because hey, if I don't got no secondary, like Jerry brought up, I can just build up this D line, and they could have did that by getting another edge rusher to go at Max Crosby. They could have also went corner. They could have went anywhere else. They could have went O line because I don't think the O line is good enough. Like getting Genty means that my O line is good enough. We just need a running back. No, I don't think the O line is that good. So I don't. Once again, this pick to me just does not make sense. Because there was so many needs you had, so many holes you could have filled with the sixth pick overall. The sixth pick overall, right? There was so many places you could have went. You could have went receiver and got Rail Boy out of Arizona, right? McMillan, right? You could have went and got him to pair with Brock Bowers, right? And to also make Jacoby Myers your third option now. Like there's so many ways you could have went about this pick, and you went Ashton Genty. It don't make sense to me because I don't think he's going to come in the league and do damage because the O line is just not that good. Unless he's a Saquon, because Saquon went to the Giants. Mind you, their O-line was terrible. Saquon made some noise, but the Giants were still terrible while they had Saquon, right? So with the Raiders, can Genty be special with no O-line? I don't know, right? I don't know, but I'm willing to bet that he's going to struggle this year because their O-line is not that good. All right, so to me, the Genty pick just did not make sense only because there's so many other players that could have gotten at that pick that could have made immediate impact and kind of helped that defense or help Geno Smith at the receiver position, but he went Ashton Genty. We're gonna see how it plays out, but I don't like it at all. All right. Let's go ahead and let's stop talking about the NFL for a second. And let's head over to the NBA. All right, so real quick, I'm gonna give y'all an update on each series, how the series are looking. All right, we're gonna start with our 1 and our 8 seeds in the West. All right, the Thunder did sweep the Grizzlies. That series is done. The Thunder is waiting for the winner of the Clippers and the Nuggets. All right, heading over to the East, the Cavs swept Miami. All right, and they're waiting on the series between. No, they're playing the Pacers. All right, because the Pacers just beat the Bucks. All right, the 2 and 7 seeds, the Rockets are down 3-1 to the Warriors. Boston 1 and 5 against the Magic 4-1. The 3 and 6 seeds in the West, the Lakers down 3-1 to the Timberwolves. All right. All right. I knew that was coming. All right. All right. Where was I? All right. The Knicks are up 3-2 versus the Pistons. All right. The Pistons avoided elimination last night, and they will be going to game 6 in Detroit. All right. And then the 4 and 5 seeds in the West, we got the Nuggets up 3-2. They just won at home last night. They're up 3-2 going to LA for game 6. And then the Pacers, of course, beat the Bucks 4-1. All right. Those are our updates for our series. And now we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. I did say, for those of y'all that maybe just now joined the podcast, or y'all didn't see the episode we talked about this series, but I did say Lakers at 5. Now that is mathematically impossible because they are down 3-1. All right, Jared, what is your reaction to LA being down 3-1? And is there a chance? I also want to add this: is there a chance that they win this series?
They don't have a chance. I'm sorry. I'm just get that out the way right now. They don't have a chance, and the reason why they don't have a chance is because Jay McDaniels is averaging 20 points. Like, I think whenever I say that, it sums up why y'all are down 3-1. Like, we know he's a defensive presence, which he's guarding Luka most of the time. Luka's still getting his. But y'all the Lakers cannot let this guy have 20 points a game. You're not gonna win. I don't think no team can win when he has 20 points like consistently. We saw it in game 1, and you even said that they just played out of their mind. They were shooting the ball so well, and it won't happen again. That's what you were praying for. but he's still getting hits. Like it's I don't even know. And I told you before the season started. I mean, before the series started, I said I thought it was going to be in 6 because I thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves would get 2 wins because of Anthony Edwards. Well, one of them wins just came the other night, but they're not down in the series. They're up 3-1. Anthony Edwards had a 40 ball. Like, I knew there was going to come a moment where he was going to just, because in his mind, in Anthony Edwards' mind right now, he's the best player in this series without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. I think in his mind, in every single series, he thinks he's the best player in that series. So I knew there was going to be 2 games at least where he goes out there and says, I'm going to show y'all why I'm the best player in this series, in his mind. Well, he had one of them the other night. I don't know. And it goes back to when I had early questions about the Lakers whenever this team first formed. But the questions, they kind of went by the wayside because I saw what was happening on the court. It looked good. I thought, they need to go get a big man. We know they drafted for Mark Williams. We know it didn't go through some technicality issues. Like, if y'all would have got Mark Williams, I really was going to be sold. But y'all didn't. I was like, they need a big. Y'all were showing me that y'all did not need a big. It's coming to hurt y'all. Because even when you look at it, they're not playing Rudy, but Nas Reed is tall. Jaden Daniels is tall. Like, I've seen possessions where you have Austin Reeves guarding Jaden Daniels, Austin Reeves guarding Nas Reed. Like, that can't work. Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, they're too big of liabilities for you not to have a big. Like, they're not just sitting behind the arc and shooting it. They're also getting in the paint. I saw DiVincenzo go in there and get a tough and one the other day. When if you had a big man, that was going to get thrown. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I'm puzzled because I know going into the series, I thought that the Lakers just had too much at the top. Austin Reeves, he is really letting us down. I'm not going to lie. Austin Reeves it's like he's proving Tyler's point right now that Austin Reeves isn't the best third option in the league. And it's unfortunate. Like, LeBron and Luka need more help. And if LeBron's going to come back next year, they need more help. They need more guys. I think, honestly, perfectly, Jerry Vanderbilt, he's a good player. Dorian Finney-Smith, these are good players. But he's got to go get a big first. But in terms of this series, yeah, it's over. And I'm not going to lie to you, I think this series is over tonight. I think tonight, because I think that this last game, Game 4, was probably the Lakers' best game of this series. Even though they have a win, this is probably the best game of the series because this was their giving all they got. We clowned LeBron for his fourth quarter play, but the first 3 quarters, LeBron was hooping. In the fourth quarter, we saw LeBron getting defensive stops. I really sat back and watched this man just steal the ball out of people's hands constantly, getting blocks, getting stops, but it wasn't enough. And so I think that tonight, they smell blood. Anthony Edwards smells blood. He's going to go out there, man. Word on the street is they started calling him the legend killer, man, because, he sent KD home last year, sending LeBron home this year. People think he's going to get Steph next series. Hey, they calling this young man a legend killer. I think tonight he's going to prove why they are, and he's going to go ahead and finish this series off. They're going to hope that the Rockets can get at least one more game out of the Warriors so they can get a little bit of a time to rest. But this series is over, and I think it's going to happen tonight. So Timberwolves in 5, unfortunately.
Yeah, the tables always turn. But, and disrespectful, bro. And disrespectful. Hey, but, Jake, I just got a quick question. You played basketball basically your whole life. After a basketball game, you're only 18 years old. After a basketball game, how does your body feel?
I'll tell you, the next day, terrible, hurting,
for sure.
sore, feeling bad.
You're 18 years old. So LeBron James is 40 years old, playing 46 minutes. I can just imagine how he's feeling. So I was saying this all week. The Lakers are done. They probably have a 20% chance of winning just because they have Luka and LeBron. But the Lakers are done. It's over with. They threw their best punch. They threw their absolute best punch. Your last round in the 12th round, your knockout punch with 10 seconds left when you're losing and you need a knockout. That's what the Lakers just threw in game four. In game four, they threw that. This is a desperate move. The move JJ Redick pulled to not play any of his starters the whole 24 minutes of the second half was only done one time in NBA history, and it was a real desperate move. This is a move that you make when you say, hey, we can't lose this game. This is a win or go home game. So that tells me we just threw our best punch. Like you just said, Jared, I feel like the Lakers had their best game last game, too. I feel like they were making all their shots. I feel like they got to the free throw line. They were getting foul calls. I think just fatigue messed him up at the end of the game. LeBron had a couple of costly turnovers. Luka had a couple of costly turnovers, missing easy shots at the rim. But I say that to say this. After they just play all those minutes, you have to play your bench. You have to play your bench a little bit. Gabe Vincent only got 2 shots up. He didn't even get a chance to really play. We don't know if Gabe Vincent would have had a good game or not. I saw a stat earlier today. It said Naz Reid is outscoring all of the Lakers players, all the Lakers bench players by himself. So that's a big red flag. Like Jared said, Jaden McDaniels, a 3-and-D player, is averaging 20 points a game. Like Jaden McDaniels, it's been multiple games this series where he shot 22 shots in game 3. That just shows you how aggressive he is. That just shows you, hey, I don't respect the Lakers defense. I'm gonna take it in on them. Lakers are done with it. I think they win tonight just because they're in Staples. They can't go out. They can't go out like that. But the Timberwolves are definitely ended on their home floor, game 6.
Okay, I just want to remind all the viewers that everybody on this podcast picked the Lakers to win. Okay, I just want to.
I had them in 7. In 7 though. I told them it was going to be hard.
I said I did have them win in 6.
I could care less how many games.
I said it was going to be a hard one. I said it was going to be a hard one.
I could care how many games it is. I could care less. Y'all picked the Lakers to win. Okay, so we're not going to sit here and act like I'm the only one that should be suffering right now. When all of us picked the Lakers.
But this is your team. It's different. I can see like this is your team.
No,
you have a Lakers jersey in your apartment right now. This is your team.
It's not different. It's not different at all. We picked
it's much different.
For our credibility. We all picked the Lakers to win, so we're all wrong. Period.
Yes, but it hurts a little bit more for you because this is your team.
It's not more, but actually, it's more for both of us because you and me picked the Lakers to go to the finals. Yeah, let's remind everybody.
You're right, and you're right, and you got me looking like the biggest fool on this podcast right now.
I got who looking like the biggest fool?
Me.
You picked them. You picked them to go to the finals.
Because I was sold. You and LeBron and Luka had me convinced.
No, you just said what you saw in your little soliloquy. You were saying what you saw on the court is what made you say they're going to the finals. So don't say it's because of me. Ain't nobody going to watch you
right now. In your time, tell me what happened, please. I want to know. I want to know what happened.
I'm about to tell you what happened. All right. Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid, combined has 134 points this series.
Oh my gosh.
That is not even, before I even read Rui and Austin, if I would have told you that going into the series that they would have 134 points combined through 4 games, y'all would have looked at me like I was crazy. And I think I would have looked at y'all like y'all are crazy if y'all said that, because Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels are not scorers like that. They score every now and then, but they're not scorers to where they should be getting basically 70 apiece. Basically, right, in the first 4 games. Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura has 120 combined. That's not okay. And I know what y'all thinking. It's a 14-point difference. It's still not okay because Austin Reeves, to me, is better by a lot than Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid. I think Jared would agree. I don't know why Rail is shaking his head, but going into this series, we did not think that Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels would be offensively these game records that they are right now. Like, I don't think none of us thought that, but they have been. So that, to me, has been the problem. Austin Reeves has been, and I'm not going to be prisoner of the moment and say that he proved us wrong. He proved real right and proved us wrong, and he's the best third option. I think he's just having a bad series. Because let's go check Norman Powell points per game. Let's check Norman Powell stats. So that's what you brought up. You said Norman Powell the best third option. He ain't doing nothing either. So I don't want to hear, all right?
He tries.
Austin Reeves.
Talk about your hungry.
Austin Reeves is just having a bad series. And that it's not okay. But I'm not going to knock him completely for it. But I gotta be real. Like he's having a bad series. In the last game, he had like 17 points, but he missed two crucial threes. I think we was down two at one point, and he missed a wide open three, missed it. And then at the end of the game, the last three was a good look from the corner. They swung it around, got to Austin Reeves. He was tested a little bit, but it was a good look, and he missed a three to go to overtime. So Austin is not having the impact that I thought he would have, because we knew what Luka was going to do. We knew what Brown was going to do. But it really mattered on Austin. And I was banking on Austin to have a really good series, to have a really good playoff run to get to the finals where I thought they would be, where Jared Goff thought it would be. I don't know why he think he's slick. But I thought that Austin Reeves would play a big role in that, but he hasn't. And also with Rui. Rui hasn't played a big role in that either. So I think it comes down to our third and fourth options are getting outplayed by their third and fourth options. And if I would have asked you whose third and fourth options are better going into the series, we would have said Rui and Austin over McDaniels and Reed. So I think that's where it's going wrong. But Jerry said it's over tonight, which is blasphemy. That is crazy. That game is not over tonight. That's not going to happen. I'm guaranteeing that the Lakers going to win Game 5. You said what?
What was money on it?
How much? Talk to me.
20.
20. Bet. Done. Bet. Yep. Done. Bet 20. That's free 20. All right.
Same amount of points Jamie Downs is average in the series.
Hey, free 20 though, Jerry. That is a free 20.
It's free 20. Thank you. It's free 20 for me. I appreciate it. But
the game ends and I blow up y'all phone, I don't want to hear nothing.
You're not gonna lose tonight. Relax. I think that if they do win tonight, like right now, because like Rel said, it's Luka and LeBron, they have a 2% chance to win this series. 2%, right?
It's higher than that. Come on.
No, 2%.
No, it's factual. 2%.
With any team being down 3-1, I'm going to say you have a 2% because you have to win 3 straight games. They just got to win one. One night you can have an off night shooting and you lose, series over. One night the referees can make some bad calls, series over. The Timberwolves can afford a bad night of shooting. They can afford a night where the referees are having a bad game calling wise. The Lakers cannot afford that. The Lakers need everything to go their way in 3 games. Timberwolves need it in 1. So I think 2% is generous, right? Versus me saying none. If they win tonight, I would say it moves up to about 25%. And if they win Game 6 and it comes back to Game 7 in LA, I would still say they have like a 35% chance. Like I'm not going to ever give the Lakers a big chance of greater chance to win this series than the Timberwolves, even if it does come down to a Game 7. That's just because the Timberwolves have to win one game, right? And that's just the way it is. But it's unfortunate, all 3 of us were wrong. So all of us are going to take the fall for this. Not just going to be me. I think we all need to reassess our basketball IQ because we was all wrong about this series. We was all wrong, no matter how many games. And Rel, you better hope it don't end tonight because you said Lakers in 7. So Timberwolves at 5 make you look just as bad.
And then nah. I hope the Lakers win, bro. But like me just being real, like if you go back on the podcast a week ago, bro, 2 weeks ago, I said like it's going to Game 7. Y'all don't have no defense to stop them. So I feel like it's not really a loss. It's a loss. At the end of the day, it's a loss. Like like the win-loss column is a loss. But I'm just saying, it's not like I'm not finna hold my head about it. Y'all hold your head. Y'all thought the Lakers was going to the finals. Y'all look stupid right now. Who's your final pick now? Who do y'all have going to the Western Conference Finals now? You know what I'm saying? You got to think about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah, you're so right. But if they're the Timberwolves, it better be over tonight. Because if it's not, even though Game 6 is in Minnesota, you say they have to win one game. That's still scary. Like this is the night that you have to win this game. You can't give them no type of hope because that Game 6, let's say Game 6 Minnesota's not hitting their shots. Let's say the calls aren't going your way. Now you got to go to Game 7, and that's like, I'm not gonna lie. If it miraculously goes 7, I'm picking the Lakers. Just because.
No. We can't be doing that. No.
No.
It's over tonight.
No. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Look. Look. They already know. The podcast already knows. I bet on Minnesota to win tonight. I have Minnesota win tonight, guaranteed without a shadow of a doubt. But what I'm saying is the reason why they are going to win tonight is because they know if they lose this game, that turns the series around. Yes, it's still 3-2. Yes, you're going to Minnesota, but that's still scary. You're playing LeBron and Luka. Now they just have to keep winning one more game. You have to win one more game. The Lakers mentality is we just have to win one game. It's literally the same thing. We just have to win one game. That's what the Lakers are saying. They have to win one game tonight. They're going to be saying we have to win one more game, game 6. Now you turn around, it's game 7. Both teams got to win one. So the Timberwolves need to make it a fact and need to make it a point that they have to win tonight, because if you don't, you're playing with fire right now.
I think
You really are.
the only reason why I disagree is because I think this is different from the Pistons and the Knicks, right? The Pistons were down 3-1, and the game 5 was in New York, right? That's a situation where you say the Knicks better win tonight because it's going back to Detroit, and I guarantee you Detroit gonna win in Detroit. And then it's gonna be a game 7 back in my crib, which anything can go. In this situation, Minnesota, if they lose tonight, their next game is at home. So I see what you're saying. Like they'll be one game away from game 7, like a bad shooting night or a bad call away from game 7, but they'll still be at home. The Knicks are gonna be on the road in game 6. I honestly believe that series is going 7. Like I think it's guaranteed to go 7. I don't think the Knicks will go to Detroit and win. So I feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves have a way better chance of ending it in 6 than the Knicks have a chance of ending it in 6. That's why I say it's split, only because of the home court advantage. So I see what you're saying. You don't want to get another game closer to game 7 because now Braun and Luka thinking, okay, all we gotta do is win one more game, and now we in a game 7. But I think it's different from the Knicks and the Pistons to this series.
Like LeBron, it's so much different, but LeBron, he's been through this before. We all talk about the great 3-1 comeback against the Warriors. So he win this one. Now he's starting to feel it a little bit. He's starting to going into this game tonight. I personally think that everybody on that Lakers team, besides LeBron and Luka, thinks it's over. I honestly do. Like, regardless of how they're gonna, like, they think it's over. They know it's over. Besides LeBron and Luka, just because of that type of mentality. So if they win this game tonight, that's like, I think that in this series, home court really doesn't matter. I really don't, because of the teams, because of the stars. Like, home court don't mean nothing to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards will go in your arena and do you even worse than he'll do you at home. LeBron and Luka will go in your arena and do you worse than they'll do you at home.
Okay, let's relax all the Anthony Edwards glaze. Okay, I'm starting to really.
It's not. No. Last season, it was Glaze because people were starting to talk crazy, starting to put him on levels that he shouldn't be. No, he's proven it, dude. If you go and look at this man, every single year in the playoffs, he gets better. There's not too many guys I've seen do that. Like, I'm being completely honest. Like, he went from celebrating the play-in to starting to win series. Like, he's about to knock out who some people think is the GOAT. And Luka Doncic.
Okay, see, and this is when I bring this up, then we're gonna say we can't say that. But when you say he about to knock off the GOAT, he's knocking off the GOAT at 40. Like we have to.
It don't matter. It don't matter because that same GOAT at 40 is who we had winning the championship. So obviously he must still be hooping. We can't put like that's one thing I definitely don't support. We can't be throwing out this age 40 narrative when he doesn't play like he's 40. If LeBron was playing every other game, having to sit out because he's 40, okay. He's not playing like a 40-year-old. So we can't bring it up to benefit ourselves.
I'm not trying to benefit.
It's LeBron James. He's beating LeBron James. It doesn't matter if it's at 40, 30, 20. He's beating LeBron James. It's that simple.
I think
so. We have to. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I used to think it was Glaze, but he's starting to let everybody know that it's real. Like he's what he tell President Obama? That boy said he the truth. He said y'all better stand down. He the truth. And I think tonight he gonna go into crypto and the staples, whatever it is, and he gonna show y'all that he's the truth. He's gonna have another big night.
His Ant Glaze getting out of hand. I done heard some people say that he's better than Luka now. because he about to bounce
I
you.
would never go that far. I would never go as
Well,
far as say that. I would never. I can't. I'm not gonna
No,
put him
I'm
up to the
saying,
top
I'm
stars
saying,
in the
I'm
league.
hearing this in general. Like in general, I'm hearing people say that he's better than Luka now. Like, and not even just Tyrell. We saw DeMarcus say that in the group chat the other day. I saw this happen on First Things First. They saying that they about to say that Ant-Man is better than Luka Doncic. That's crazy word. Like we need to calm down a little bit. Prisoners of the moment. But Jared, I disagree. I think they will win Game 5 tonight, and I think that I would not get my hopes up. I think the Timberwolves will win this in 6. But if it does go 7, hey, real. If it does go 7,
but hey, look, don't do. I'm telling you, don't do it. You're gonna mess yourself up. I'm telling you, don't do it. Bro, oh my gosh, she did it. Oh my
Lakers in
gosh, she
7.
did it.
Lakers
Oh my
gonna
gosh, you just cursed
Oh
yourself.
gosh. Lakers gonna
You
give me
just
about
cursed
30 tonight.
yourself.
I'm just saying. I said if it goes 7. That's what I said. But they're going to win tonight. That's no doubt. If it goes 7.
Hey, I want to go back on something right quick though. The Pistons and the Knicks series. You
Yeah.
said you guarantee that goes to 7
Yep.
because you don't think the Knicks are going to Detroit and win.
Nope.
I disagree with that. The Knicks lost last night by 2 points.
Yep.
And what did we
Cade did
say at
not
the end of
play
that
well,
game?
mind you. Cade Cunningham had a bad game.
Jalen Brunson had a bad game. Jalen Brunson
Russ had a bad
averaged
game too.
he
Russ
averaged
like
33 in the
4 for
playoffs.
16, something like that.
That's
4
cool.
for 16. Come on.
Cade had a bad game, and now Jalen Brunson had a bad game at home. Like that's not supposed to happen. Cade had a bad game on the road. He's about to go back home. I think Cade still got a bad taste in his mouth from how he missed both the shots back when they were at home in Game 4. So I think Cade gonna come out. He's gonna have a 30 ball. He can get the job done. It's gonna go 7.
In this series, I think the first 4 games were decided by combined total of 9 points, right? And also when you look at the fact that Game 4, I think the Pistons got robbed, right? If that look, y'all saw that shooting foul they called him Dylan Brooks against Jimmy Butler, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's a shooting foul, then I know what happened to Tim Hardaway in Game 4 at the buzzer. That was definitely a foul, right? So I think that they got robbed of that game, and then they went ahead and they stole this game. Hey, I think they're going back to Detroit. They got momentum, and they know that all we got to do is win this game, and it's a Game 7. Hey, whatever happens, happens. Game 7 can go anyway, right? So I think Detroit. Hey, I picked Knicks. I picked Knicks in 6. I remember I said that Cade can give them like 2 games, right? I said Knicks in 6, but if this thing goes 7, I just don't know. I honestly don't know. We might see Detroit and Boston. I'm just saying we might. But Rail said it's over in 6. I think it might go 7. All right.
Yeah, Kate Cunningham, he also said we'll be back. Like he said he's confident the Pistons are forced in Game 7. And I think he heard himself right there. Let's him get the Knicks some extra motivation.
We definitely go see. All right, but that's it for Straight to the Point podcast. All right, make sure y'all check me out on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and also please go check out Real on Twitch at Young Real Streams. All right, make sure y'all go check him out, and also be on the lookout for this next jersey giveaway on Instagram. It's gonna be Luka Doncic. Let me go ahead and say it right now. It's gonna be a Luka Doncic jersey on IG. All right, but that's it for the Straight to the Point podcast today. It's your boy Jay Best, your boy Real, and your boy Jared. Y'all stay blessed. Much love. We out.